Three, two, one, let's go. Hi everybody and welcome to another exciting edition of Boring JavaScript. I'm your host, the Virtual Void, aka Mike Smith, and today we're going to be talking about the spread and rest syntax. Now, what exactly does it do? Well, I tell you, this is like my 30th take on doing this introduction here because I'm having a hard time explaining exactly what it does with words. So I figured the easiest thing to do here would be to take actual code examples and explain it with the code. It would make a great deal more sense like that. Are you ready? Let's go. So let's take a look at the spread syntax. I have an array of animals here, and I'm going to pass it to a function that will tell me which animal has the most letters. And of course, we can already tell that Roadrunner is going to be the answer to our question. But here's our problem. Process animals is our function, but it doesn't take an array as the argument. What it takes is 9 different arguments and compares all 9 animals. Now, I know that's a horrible way to program a function, but again, this is just for example purposes. And once it gets those arguments, it will do whatever it has to do to try to figure out which argument has the most letters and pass that back over to us. So how can we tell JavaScript that I want to pass all of this array over to the process animals function as arguments? That's where the spread syntax comes in. ... and your array name. And what that will do is it will take each element of the array and put that as an argument to the function. You can think of it this way. It will spread out the array into arguments. So I have 9 different elements in my array. It will spread all those 9 elements into 9 different arguments. What if I had a 15 element array? It will spread those elements out into 15 different arguments for process animals. Now, of course, I've coded my process animals to automatically take 9 because I happen to have a 9 element array here. So let's see how that works. Let's go into Node and type in node spread. And sure enough, I got the most letters is Roadrunner. And again, why did that happen? This is something you got to understand, is that we are spreading the array here into all the arguments. I have a 9 element array. It will be 9 arguments so that when it gets into process animals, it will automatically have 9 arguments filled in. So that's the key to spread. Spread will take your array and spread each element into individual arguments. Now let's take a look at the rest operator. It works a lot like the spread operator, but slightly turned around and different. Here is my function. It's called process2animals. It takes 2 arguments and will tell me which argument has the most letters. And of course, if we ran it in Node right now, it would do exactly that. Animal with most letters is horse. Of course, we already knew that. But what if I had more arguments? Well, let's take a look and see how that happens. Let's put cow, coyote, and Roadrunner. Let's save it. Let's go into Node and let's see what happens. The animal with most letters is still a horse, but it did know that I had extra arguments. And this is where the rest syntax comes in. So let's take a look at the rest syntax. Let's flip down here, and I just so happen to have my code already built. Here is the process2 animals. Here is my first argument, animal 1. Here is my second argument, animal 2. Here is the rest syntax. Just like the spread, it has 3 dots at the very beginning. But remember, the spread took an array and spread it into different arguments. Well, the rest syntax takes all the different arguments and puts them together into an array. You can think of it as basically saying, take the rest of the arguments and put them into an array. So the first time through, when we just had cat and horse, this came out to be cat, this was horse, and other animals came out to be a length of 0, which is why down here, since the length was already 0, I didn't get any kind of message. But when I put cow, coyote, and Roadrunner in there, animal 1 was still cat, animal 2 was still horse. Other animals now was a 3-element array, with the first element being cow, the second one being coyote, the third element being Roadrunner. It still compared animal 1 and animal 2 and got me the answer. But now that other animal's length was greater than 0, it then used the join method here on the array to give me just a simple little string saying, hey, 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 you know, I can only compare 2 animals, but you gave me more than 2, and here are the ones you gave me. So again, the rest syntax is wonderful for taking the rest of the arguments and putting them into an array. That's how rest works, and it's a wonderful way to be able to grab all those extra arguments and doing something with them than from what you expected in the function. One great thing I want to show you about the spread syntax is it can be also used to be able to copy or splice, dice, whatever to do with arrays. Again, remember, spread spreads itself out over arguments, so anything that takes individual arguments can be useful for a spread operator. Let's take a look, first of all, how we can copy an array. I have an array called animals, 9-element array, and I'm using the spread operator to make a copy of it, a shallow copy, in fact, into new arrays. Now, how exactly does this work? Remember, the spread operator takes each element of the array and spreads it out into different arguments. So by placing it around these square brackets, I am basically telling JavaScript to, hey, take the animals array, spread it out into different arguments, and put that into a new array. So this entire statement here is exactly the same thing as if I was saying new animals equals left square bracket, cat, comma dog, comma horse, comma cow, on to comma lizard in square bracket. Exact same thing. So it makes a complete shallow copy of the original array. I'm then going to push a new element to new animals to show you that it has actually made a copy of the array and did not change the original. So let's go over to node, take a look at that, and node arrays. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Here's my original array. Here's the new one with eagle copied at the very end. Now, one of the other nice things it can do is it can also be used to splice an array into another. I just so happen to have code that does that, so let's comment out that code, and let's bring up the other code. So here I've got a little bit different example. New animals, I have as a 2-element array, salamander and giraffe, and now I'm going to splice my animals array into the middle of it. Now I'm going to be using the splice method here on the new animals array. And the splice method very quickly says, I want you to start at a particular location, in this case index number 1. I want you to then delete this number of elements. In this case, I don't want to delete any elements. And then I want you to insert all of the arguments that are associated here. Again, I'm using the spread operator because it spreads out the array into different arguments. So this is the same thing as saying splice to the first index, do not delete anything, and then insert cat, comma dog, comma cow, comma coyote, and so on and so forth all the way to lizard. So this should give me the exact same effect. My original array should not change. My new array should have salamander, all of my other array entries, and then giraffe. Let's take a look and see how that works. Sure enough, that's what happened. Here's my original array. Here's my new array. I have a salamander. I have my original array, and then I have giraffe at the very end. So this is how you can use the spread operator to very easily and succinctly do a quick splice of an array and move one array straight down into the middle of another. And that's all on the spread and rest syntaxes. I hope you enjoyed our video. Hope it didn't bore you to death. Please check out our other videos at www.boringjavascript.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or take a look at our blog at blog.thevirtuoid.com. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you later.